People who grew up in third world countries. What was the biggest shock for you when moving into a developed country? This will possibly get buried. But finally an AskReddit I can relate to. 1. Toilet paper. Toilet paper everywhere. You don't have to bring your own to a public restroom because there's one in every stall here in America. And it's free. 2. Restaurant service and food abundance. You asked for a medium well steak but was slightly overcooked? You send it back to the kitchen and you get a new one cooked for you. And the server even apologizes for it. 3. Black people. White people. Asian people. People with natural red hair. In my 15 years living in a small town in Central America, I saw maybe 2 black people, a handful of white people, the one Chinese restaurant owner, and 0 redheads. Now I get to see all kinds of people from all over the world, with different experiences and backgrounds. It's kinda neat. Just how much of my mind was previously occupied by machinations of keeping my family alive. Like always subconsciously running through the drill of what to do in the event of an armed hijacking or house break-in. And being super vigilant around people and in various places. No matter the time of day. I felt like at least 10% of my mental capacity has been freed up for other more productive thoughts like appreciating beauty and freedom. Planning a prosperous future and trusting that the sense of security my family and I feel isn't just a ruse. Maslow's hierarchy of needs in action. It's encouraging to know you can concentrate on your happiness more now. The first world can really take its comfort and safety for granted. My wife's first time in the U.S., she burst out laughing at how a 4-way stop worked. And just couldn't believe people actually followed the rules. Not getting suspicious when a stranger talks to you on the street. I can't get over it. I get anxious every time. But people in Canada don't seem to mind at all where I come from. When a stranger approaches you, you nope the F out. When I was in the Marines I had a friend that was from extreme rural Africa. So we took him to 3D shows and such. He had been in the US for around 6 months but even things like TV was an amazing luxury to him. Someone in the group picked up one at a pawn shop off post and gave it to him and he was just amazed that someone would just give him a TV. Something nifty. He had it set up so direct deposits would go to an account his village had access to. His salary as an E2 in the Navy made his family semi-royalty in the village. Grocery stores like Walmart, Publix, and Kroger, huge and vast, have air conditioning, massive variety and tons of stuff I have never heard of. Huge culture shock to me and my father in 2001 since we had no major grocery stores in Bosnia at the time. Publix rules. That things would get fixed. I had a vending machine in my dorm building. It broke down and said well guess no more vending machine. Absolutely flabbergasted when I saw the machine repaired and working. In my school, we have vending machines in the cafeteria. My money got stuck inside and I was told I could call Coca-Cola for a refund. They asked me some questions. And they sent a person to fix it and they're mailing me 2 coupons for free drinks. My roommate's coworker is from Guatemala. He says one of the best things about the US is that when you call for an ambulance, one actually shows up even if you aren't rich or important. Oof. That's sad. The quality of the public infrastructure. And how respectful city planning is with pedestrians. Sydney is full of beautiful little gifts in the shape of shortcuts. Stairs, parks, pathways, everywhere. It truly is a joy to just walk through the city. Also, dogs are more polite than people where I come from. I visited my cousins in the U.S. once. I was surprised that your houses don't have walls around them. There were only those fences at the side and back that pretty much anyone can jump over. Where I live the only houses who don't have walls surrounding them are those in compounds or subdivisions that have roaming security guards. Paid security guards, not volunteers like the neighborhood watch kind of thing. Safety when walking on the streets during night. When in Brazil, I used to wait for my wife on the bus stop from college. As she usually left college around 2200. It was dangerous. We used to live on a central zone. And her college was also central. In Ireland, if she leaves a party at 3 o'clock, I don't get concerned at all. So great to live without being afraid. It took us about 1 year to relax. The one thing which baffled me is how there is an absence of petty crimes and how the shops in the city center were not worried about displaying their wares outside their shops. There was no risk of someone stealing those tiny stuffs. Also at night, the shops were just closed with their glass doors. No extra iron shutters with multiple locks and stuffs. How little theft there is. I was always told to always mind my bag and make it clear I'm holding it tight. Now I can freely leave it beside me. Sometimes not even look. I've had friends leave a purse on a table in a restaurant and I made jokes about how easy it would be to steal it. Just a lot more relaxing in public due to less theft. Another one is how less physical fighting in schools there is. From a young age I was always told, if someone hits you, hit them back harder, but when we moved to UK my dad told me before my first day of school, if someone hits you, tell the teacher. Being able to walk around the city while using my phone. If I use it where I live, I get murdered, ped or kidnapped over a phone. Giant grocery stores are full of food and always fully stocked. Coming from Ukraine to USA in the 90s, my entire family's jaws dropped for hours. The discipline in driving. In my country, even when the signal light is color red, they just brush it off and continue accelerating. FC King morons. Toilets. Flushing toilets that you could repeatedly flush too. How old the houses are. I was expecting modern construction like in my country. But instead saw old buildings which, ironically, valued more than even the more modern ones. Old buildings are often closer to the city center. So it's also location, plus they may have historical value. How expensive many things are while certain things are very cheap but there's always enough. The postal system. The logistics of delivering millions of letters to millions of homes on a daily basis is astonishing. Especially at that price. The idea that I can send a letter across the country and have it reliably delivered the next or possibly even same day is truly impressive. Edit. Don't bother. 30 people have already made that email joke. I am astonished at this. And I have always lived in the US. We majorly take our postal system for granted. I grew up in South Africa and have been living in England for 20 years. 1. Cars stop when you walk up to a pedestrian crossing. 2. Double-glazed windows are really good at keeping the warm in and the noise out. 3. I can walk around at night without thinking I'm going to get shot or robbed. 4. There are only a few people on building sites and the buildings get built in a quick and organized manner. 5. When things break, someone will come and fix it. I could go on all day. People's personal space is surprisingly vast. You've got so much fresh water. US in it. Water? You mean like from the toilet? Yeah. I could see how a developing country where getting drinkable water takes some effort, boil it, filter it or buy it. It's pretty weird to go to a developed country and find out that people crap in toilets with drinkable water and also shower in it. Coming from the worst country to a better one. It surprises me how easy it is to do a transaction online. Apply Visa? Do it online. They will notify you once they need documents. Once you are ready, etc. Every step of the process. Pay bills? Fine. Do online banking. Order food. Groceries? Do it online. Call for delivery. Schedule for appointment? Call. Do it online. Meanwhile in my country, you need to do all this physically. Fall in line for hours. Registration done, on to the next step, payment. You need to go to the bank. Collect the receipt and come back here. You want to do it online? Good luck with the shitty websites and slow internet. I could go on and on. It's day and night comparison. Being a girl, you can live alone. The lights. So many lights from street lamps. Traffic lights. Huge buildings lit up all night. Oh, and the highways blew my mind. They were so wide and full of so many cars. I was 6 and I'll never forget that first drive from the airport to my new home in December. It was also my first time seeing snow. Drinking water directly from water taps. I visited Germany once with my family. We were about to cross the road when a Porsche came racing through. Living in India, we experience daily traffic mishaps and there is negligible concern regarding pedestrian safety and courtesy. So we were actually shocked when the driver literally halted to a stop and insisted on us crossing the road. There was no traffic light. No zebra crossings, nothing, and we actually were used to letting cars pass by before walking. So this was the biggest shock to us. How things actually work. You can rely on your electricity not going out at least twice a day. If you buy something and it breaks, there's warranty with little to no hassle. Internet actually works more than it doesn't. Public transportation actually arrives, and shockingly, it does on time. If you hire a service, it'll actually be done and with an expectation of quality. The list goes on. Of course it's not perfect and there's shitty people everywhere. But that's the exception, not the rule, and it's a massive difference. Poor people are fat. How fast food wasn't $50 per person, but rather $5 minus 10. Also, how much civilization advances when the AC is on all day and everywhere. It's a blessing. I was 9 when we moved here from the Philippines, where it's always hot and muggy. The day after we landed, my parents took us to Disneyland. Once inside the park, I noticed how much cooler it was and claimed how rich the U.S. was that they can use air conditioning outdoors. Everyone got a good laugh out of that one. A Songan African man who was staying with me came rushing in the first week he was staying me and woke me up. He was extremely excited that there was a garbage truck with a motorized arm and was picking up the wheelie bins as it went down the street. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? He kept exclaiming over and over again. Amazing. Amazing. It made me laugh very hard. But he was a lovely guy. That people don't care at all with the clothes or my overall appearance, weight, hair, etc. In Brazil I always get comments, good or bad, about how I look. Mainly from friends or family, but it's common to always talk about it. When I moved to Australia I made friends. And never got a comment about any of these things. It was a big relief to find out that I can be myself and not worry about the tons of comments about something that doesn't matter at all. Smiley face. Cars. Devices are much cheaper in US than in CIS countries. How clean it was in most areas. The structure and the uniformity of it all.